information you wouldn't possibly know. So we're going to start. Here's the order of what we're going to be talking about, and we're going to start with the bright orange sheet that is on your page, because this is different for you than it has been in the past. We also have people here to answer questions, because not having lived this before and just coming in with the changes, you're going to have questions that I can't answer. So Shelly and Danette on this particular sheet are here to help answer those questions. And in the last session, some things were brought up that we hadn't even thought about. So that's for that too. Like, well, what is this? What is this? And we can look into that and get back to you. So please, whatever you're thinking or whatever you're feeling, if you have any, anything we're not thinking of, please feel free to share that with us now so that we can fix things before the kids get here. Okay? All right. So this paper we have for you to display somewhere near your phone. This is a little bit different than last year. Last year you had a step room and a star room. We don't have a star room anymore. It's gone. It's kind of being redistributed, and I'll explain to you how that's going to look. But we're going to start with the step room. What kind of happened, from what I understand in the past, is that the step room kind of just became kind of a place where you didn't know what to do with a kid, or the Shelly send them to shop, to be to the point where she was just juggling too much. And, she could handle it, but couldn't even get her job done because she was dealing with so many. What we've changed is as follows: a student who's being removed from your room for discipline issues, we're asking you to send them to the office instead. This allows us to kind of get a feel for what's going on in the building, which kids are repeat offenders, and it kind of gives us a funnel place. From the office, we will send them where they need to go. Maybe they need to see their counselor. Maybe they need to whatever the case is. Maybe they just need to sit there for 10 minutes and cool down. And we're going to funnel them from the office. So the only thing that we ask you is if a student is coming down for discipline issues, that you call Huntley and let us know. And in addition to that, that you send us, and I know this totally stinks, but there's no way around it, that you just stop everything, stop teaching, stop what you're doing, and send us just a quick. So when coming to our office, we at least have a background on what happened. You could just who? Yeah. The student that you're sending down. No. And call Huntley and let her know he's coming. Okay. Or she, SAD. So that's kind of how we're working that. In addition, we also had leaving the classroom, and then the other person who would be receiving the student on the other end didn't know the kid was coming, and the kid never showed up, and then we've got man. So we're asking you, before you send a kid out for any of these reasons, which are perfectly legitimate reasons, please take a quick second and call the room and let them know the kid is on the way. That way we've got two adults in the building, the sender and the receiver, knowing that the kid is on the way, and then if you're on the receiving end, they can get us involved and we can take care of that. Okay, so that's all the extensions are there for you, and just let them know. We'll explain the testing center a little more in a minute. And if a student is just like, I'm done with you, and swears at you and leaves the room, if you could just call Huntley and let us know that happened, that way Dan and I can go on the hunt for that missing child. Okay? Yeah.
Two things.
Okay, ready.
Very short things.
Right.
One, do you think it would be good to have the nurses extension on here too, especially for new people? If somebody to the nurse.
It would be.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't think you will leave.
Right. And we'll have to let the other person.
Yeah.
My second question is with the new walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
How soon are the PD department going to get one for when we're outside?
We have
that, but that's on our list.
I actually think the nurse has a button. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so that's kind of the steps and protocol, and basically the idea is to free her up to do, millions of other things. Danette used to be the star room, now she's the testing center. The testing center is any student, especially any student in the building who needs to make up a test and needs a place to go to make a test. That is what this is for. So the testing center is to accommodate any student testing needs, make up exams. It's not intended for classroom work. Like, it's not intended for behavioral issues. It's not intended to, for a kid to go there to have a study hall. It is simply for make purposes. So here's how this is going to work. If you need to send a kid, or if you need to have a kid make up a test and you know ahead of time, cool, you let Danette know, and then there's a file cabinet in the testing center, there will be. Okay, and you put that file in the period that the kid is going to be taking the exam. Then you'll have sent Danette an email or let her know, and at some point the kid will come and make up the exam. And when that student makes up the exam, she will say in the test to make your life more difficult, but because if she can't find you, she sets it on your desk. We all know what happens, or puts it in the mailbox or whatever. We don't want it to be, oh, I left it there, I left it there. So we have asked her to keep it in that file cabinet. So at some point, you'll get the email that Joe finished his test, and then at some point, you can run down to the testing center and grab that test out of the file. That way it's only really being put in there and taken out by you. And then we don't miss that. Yeah.
And I guess, go ahead. And I'm guessing it's room 255?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
thank you. Yeah.
And I have on the table, you'll see when you walk in, I have, sort of an in-file first and last, and an self-explanatory test, because I may not know who that student is, and your name, so I know, if it's sitting there for 3-4 days, and I go, if you haven't picked up the test, I can give you a phone call.
For sure.
Or the
Take it
yeah,
for
or, yeah.
Is this for all students?
Yes.
every
Okay.
student. Yeah,
And you
it's not
have
just special ed.
Computers in there?
We can still do makeup tests. and
I will be
Yeah.
getting Chromebooks. I'm in the process of getting that done. So yes, for Jim, yes.
And you do not, yeah, that was a good question. You don't have to utilize the testing center. If you're after school and a kid's gonna come in after school and take in your room, or you've got a spot in your room, that's fine, yeah, okay? All right, so again, the purpose is, because this is going to allow us to kind of keep tabs something to do for, they're trying to get out of class. Our goal, and we all know this, is to have our kids in our classes. And so, if the kid makes it to us in the, to me or Dan in the main office, the assumption is a number of things have been tried. We've tried to redirect, we've tried to whatever, the kid's not having it, now he's done with us, and then we can take it from there. So we're still there to assist you, we just want to make sure that we're kind of keeping everything focused. Yeah.
Can we use, if a kid misses STAR testing on the day that we're doing STAR testing, can we use the testing room for that? Or do we want to keep the common protocol and have to do the STAR testing in a different room?
Don't know, we'll find out. Cool. All right, is there anything else on this step or former STAR situation? Okay. And we will be meeting, we will have regular faculty meetings, and some of the things that we're going over today, we know we're just trying this, it might flop completely. And cool, if it does, we'll meet at our faculty meeting and we'll have this conversation again. Okay, this isn't working. We need to be able to use that for that, or we've got kids slipping through the cracks in this way. We'll fix it then. And that's our plan, is to keep these conversations going throughout the year. Okay? All right, so that's one thing down. That is a packet you have. It says 2017-18 work procedures, and then there are 2 sheets that go with it. One says dress code, and one says student behavior policy. So basically, work. I haven't lived it. Like, I came in 5 weeks ago, and they're like, work. I'm like, what is this work you speak of? So now I know, and I will tell you kind of what I've heard. I've heard that it kind of became a little bit willy-nilly, a little bit chaotic. So what we're trying to do is focus that chaos yet again. So this was started last year. This was work that you guys on the committee started last year that we're just continuing and trying to make these changes for this year. So what we're gonna do is this. The first 4 works, so the first Wednesday, Thursday for 2 weeks are going to be closed. The kids are not going to be able to leave their home work rooms. The reason is this. We are going to spend those 4 works training them. We're going to train them how to use work. We're going to explain to them the procedures. We're going to let them know by work 4, they will know everything. And by that 4th work, we're saying, okay, your 5th work is open. This is a privilege. This is whatever. Where are you going? Where are you going? So they have a plan going into that 5th work So they know they're being monitored, they know we're keeping track of where they are, which we have some systems in place to make that happen. The 5th work, they're free. So then we'll go on from there. We'll meet as a faculty, what's working, what's not working, and fix things again at that time. But we're going to train them ultimately for the first 2 weeks of work so that it becomes less crazy. All right, and so how this is going to work, we wanted to make sure that we're doing the work and we're not putting extra work on your plates. So how this is going to look is at the first, on opening day, we have Panther Pause. You'll notice we've changed the schedule. It used to be after first period. We put it right at the start of the day. It's a little bit longer. That way we have 20 minutes to work with the kids. And this is where everything will be explained to them, okay? Including the new work period and some other general information that we'll go over. But we have made you literally a script. Everything you need to say to those kids is on these pages, okay? So you could, stand there and read it to them. You just have to get them this information, and that'll be on that first day. The script is right here for you. Along with that, in the script, you will be talking about behavior policies and dress code. What we're trying to have happen here on that first day is the kids aren't sitting through 8 classes and getting the same information from 8 different people all day, so that you can actually get more quickly into the nitty-gritty of your class and what you want to do. So that we hit them at the beginning of the day with all the information, and then through the rest of the day, you know that all the kids have gotten it. You don't need to go through general school stuff with them to this level unless they have questions, okay? So the script is there for you. That being said, there are a few things in the script that are going to be new to you, so we wanted to make sure to explain those to you. And one of those things is hall passes. So, to explain to you how the hall pass system is going to work this year, we are going to really, really focus on every kid having to have their ID on them at all times. They need it for lunch, they need it for, a myriad of other things as well. So we are going to do this. You have lanyards in your room likely from last year. Some of you, if you don't, we have more for you. But you're going to have 2 lanyards in your room, and they're going to each have an empty little guy on them here, okay? And if your kid, the student in your class, wants to go to the restroom, they have to have their ID, which they'll get used to very quickly. Their ID goes in the thing. In a Sharpie on the back, we're asking you write your room number and sign your name on the back so that they can't just randomly have random lanyard that they put in their back pocket from anywhere else. So, so that your room number and your name is on there. And then they'll slip their ID in, go to the bathroom, come back to your room. That's how we in the hallways will know that the kid is cool to be out in the hallway. It will also, a student, of course, I don't have my pass today. I lost my my ID. They're in the office. They can come get one in the office. They're $5, but they don't have to have the $5. We can put it on their account so they could come, so that there's really no reason for them not to have their ID. It's just training them to have their IDs on them at all times. So that is how we're working the pass system. So before you leave today, if you need lanyards, we have up here groups of 2 with the little things. That's how that's going to work. Now, that's not the passes for everything. Do you want to explain that further?
We also have the colored one-way passes that we used last year that were green, throw them away. The new color is a yellow, goldenrod color, and that will be the one-way pass if you're sending a student to the nurse, for example, or if they're going to the office to be leaving, or if they're in transit with work. Because everybody that's in the hall will either have to have one of these passes or a yellow pass. Those are the 2 options.
Will Honor Study Hall use these passes?
That's a good question. Let's put it on
What
the
do you
list.
normally use?
They had a pass that specifically said honors.
Because I think they still need to have their IDs in them, that's what they're really stressing. Well, Charlie can talk to
Like, because I could write honors on the back then, so because those kids are, I don't know.
So you need 2 more?
Yeah, but
Is
before
Jess
we
coming in
went,
for this?
she should be.
You want to take
them
yours?
and then you
Okay.
can have them.
So the assumption is that the honor study hall kids will have these then too, right?
Yeah, and I'll write honors specifically on those, because I don't know how it's gonna work this year, but we were only letting honors kids go to the pod during their study hall. We weren't letting kids who were in there in general coming from study halls with passes go, because then they tried, it defeats the purpose of having an honor study hall, in my opinion, because they treat it as an honor study hall, so.
Cool. So if they're leaving your room and they're coming back to your room, like they're, for whatever reason, they'll use this. If they're leaving your room and you're sending them somewhere they will not be returning from.
So Shelley, those red passes you made are
Garbage.
But keep the, if you have those,
Keep the lanyard.
keep the lanyard and use those for the new one.
they just stick their ID, those red ones go in the garbage.
Red ones go in the garbage.
You can't, right, you'll just hang that on those.
Yeah, and then they put their ID.
And if I find them in the hallway with something besides their, the back of their classroom,
So
and
our names and room numbers.
Your signature.
That's the one.
Your signature, whether you sign on the pass,
Oh.
sign on there.
Oh, so that they
There's
can't-
gonna be-
Oh.
Ideally.
Right.
All right,
She's talking about the one-way pass, the paper passes. For the city. No, that, whatever you put on the back is your name and your number.
Just say-
just sign it, yeah, like you sign a normal pass.
Yeah.
On the back.
Yeah, the back pass. Can we clear this up, because I think there's a little confusion, good point, on the back of this little guy, if you could put your room number and sign your name as if you would any other pass. On there, because that way we don't have kids just.
Like permanent marker in there.
But do you think we should like print in small, like our name and then sign it, because if someone can't read it.
It'll have your room number.
Well, there is no.
That's what they just know where they're at. So if you've got a kid that's got your pass and all of a sudden they find your pass number up on the second floor, they know the kid's out of place. So that's kind of covered. Go ahead.
If you got multiple rooms that I'm in throughout the day,
You can take the ball.
get
Yeah.
once for each room?
Yeah.
Yes, two for each room. Or as a department, if you guys decide to leave two in each room, you know, because you're not gonna want to hear it inside, it's not like.
Well, is it, it's gonna be like, I might be in this classroom, I might be in the lab, I might be in this lab, I might be.
This is
five different
there's a
rooms.
signature, a teacher signature on there.
If I just have my name and signature on the back without a room number, would that work?
If you want to
That
carry.
way then I
passes,
carry them
if
with me from room to room?
you really prefer to do that, I prefer to just.
It would help us get the room there.
Well, because otherwise, if I got it like in the desk drawer or hanging in the room, and I'm not in that classroom,
They just add it out here.
they just.
Whatever
So
works.
if I take these two and keep them with me all day long without necessarily having a room number,
We'll do it exactly, yeah, that makes sense.
so make sure your signature's
Yeah.
legible so I can read it.
Okay, go ahead.
In the past, there have been passes in the computer labs. Are we still going to have passes in the computer labs? So, I know.
Should we have them in there though? Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah.
And that also brings, well, totally unrelated issue, but there are actually 4 computer labs listed on the calendar, so.
Okay, all right, that being said, we have to move on, so if you have any other questions?
Can I just quick question?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Still, all the homeroom kids have to come to my work if they have no place to go, correct? Okay,
Yes.
so what happens is, they all come and then I have to just kick out the art students who come for help because I end up with 40 people.
Well, we're on the first, okay, wait.
So you're saying,
Well,
if they're supposed to be in your ward, but they don't really know where else to go, it's your job, you're gonna coach them the first 4 wards, kind of like, decide where you should be.
Yeah, but if they have, they say, I don't have
Then
any
they
place
come
to
and work
go.
quietly, and if they're not working quietly, they shouldn't be
It's
taking
not
your
the
time.
discipline, it's the seats. I end up with 40 people.
Right, so once you have your seats full, they can't come in, they have to go sign in
So
somewhere
where we
else.
do, okay.
They go sign in somewhere else, and they'll figure it out.
Or do they then go back to their original work?
No, that's what she's saying.
No, that's what
Her
I'm-
original work, and it's coming when she has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is the priority, the homeroom or the art students who need help?
The art
Art
Students
students.
that need help.
Okay.
Because that's the
Once
point.
it's an open ward, it's your
Yeah.
actual
Okay.
academic success.
Real quick, can I say something?
for some room that'll let them
Well,
That's okay.
Yeah. Me too.
I don't have.
we have computer labs.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what they try to do a lot of times.
Yeah, bring
Can
friends.
I just come in here and I've got you? You're like, no, you don't have freshmen
Just tell
help.
them
There's no
no,
reason
it's
for you to
not,
be.
right.
Well, I don't want to go to my ward or I don't have one. Everyone has a ward. That was a big problem last year.
Yeah, we are, but we take only 60 kids because we have upward to 90 to 100 kids
Yeah.
who line up. So we cut off at 60, period. I mean, if there's a kid that absolutely needs a computer, we can adjust things because we try to have kids sit 2 to a table, otherwise it becomes a social place. And it's too much for me and Jess to walk around and monitor 60+ kids. So I mean, if you have a kid that needs a computer, call me, have them come down. We have, over in the cafe, we kind of leave seats open so they can work by themselves, so they're not coming down to chat.
Well, and that, one of the things related to the library is, I know we're supposed to be marking kids out of place if they don't get there by 9. So a lot of times, those are my kids that are out of place, they try to go in the library.
That is
Library
true.
is
And that's,
full.
we have a line.
Then
out
they come
the
to
door.
my room. I don't want to penalize a kid
Yeah.
for a situation
Well,
like
what Jess and I are trying to do.
Yeah, if you can justify it.
case by case.
Yeah.
The kid's late every day.
If he shows up at quarter after, then it was a problem.
Well, honestly, like, we have like the first 60 kids within the first minute of the bell ringing, so Jess will usually count out 60 and then shoot the line, and they should have plenty of time
Okay.
to get to where they're going, because it's like literally the first minute we're done, we're filled.
Yeah.
So, and then also with the yellow passes, if I can add in, if like the teachers can fill out the whole pass, that would be awesome, because we have teachers who sign and then kids add their friends on there and come down with about 5 kids to 1 pass.
No,
Yeah,
one
and
kid per pass.
and then we have a lot of kids who are skipping class and they added their name to a pass. So like 1 kid per pass would be awesome, and if you can write it, so I know the kid's not, you
And
know.
you want last names on them, right? That changed last year.
Yes,
You would
yes,
like
first and
names,
last name,
names.
because if someone calls and says, did John show up and I have 5 passes for John, but I don't know which periods and, you know.
Sometimes they add names in the hallway, like
They
they'll
do.
leave your wharf or
That's why
whatever,
we're
go
asking for
out.
just 1 name
But
per
they'll,
pass.
the kids are out wandering in the hallway and say, hey, where you going? Put my name on it.
That's exactly what they do, and then we get them all, oh, right, that's what I get.
So if they, I got a quick question.
Okay.
If they don't have their ID to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, that, we don't want any lawsuits, you know, I mean, like, if a kid legitimately has to go to the bathroom, they don't have their ID that day, just use your best judgment, but, I mean, the goal is
Right.
eventually they'll all
We'll
just,
still
yeah,
enforce it, but.
yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do at that point, right?
If it's the same kid every day, ask.
Yeah.
Send them to the office first.
Yes, yes.
And then if they need a duplicate ID, at what point in the day should they come into the office for that?
They could do it in their study hall, they could do it at lunch, they could do it, yeah, before, after,
Before,
yeah, yeah.
And what are appropriate times for them to go to the fall? What? Yeah.
The paw is basically a Pandora's box that was open for me yesterday. So I learned about like how that works and stuff. So I had some conversations with people yesterday. So that's something we're definitely going to be visiting. Tracy, the new CTE department chair, and I are going to be talking about that as well. I don't know yet. So for now, I guess I sort of have to hold that conversation because I don't have answers, but it is now on the radar to talk about how we're going to utilize that and what the stipulations and rules. So we'll probably send out an email to you at some point saying, this is kind of what we figured out.
Can you seriously consider that so it kickstarted that?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
I really think
I
honestly,
had a kid.
Nothing with caffeine.
I would really, is the cafeteria open? Like, honestly, it should be.
You need to sell any food.
That's what I'm thinking, and maybe I'm just being mean, but
Can I add this to, only because we have a few more things to hit,
Yeah.
can I add this to, we are having regular faculty meetings in our
Yes.
times, I promise. But I will add that to, maybe that could be a discussion that we could have initially at that, we could continue it. We'll get something pulled together in the meantime, and then we'll continue this discussion at that meeting, if that's okay with you.
And can we add, how long is lunch being sold?
How long?
Kids were like, at breakfast, yeah, after school had started. And I didn't realize that they were serving after
It
school
was still
started.
being served in the first hour.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's
Got it.
a
Yeah,
problem.
they like serve all the way through
Yes,
second
it
period.
is.
Okay,
Wow.
okay, got it on the list. Okay, awesome. One more thing on the warp thing, if we could, I don't, and this is a script, you can read it yourself, we don't have to read it all together, except the 3 bullet points, if you could, on the front of that script, the new warp procedures. We kind of hit on some of these, but just so we're all on the same page. Students must be in the room by the time the 9 o'clock bell rings. If they're entering after that, they should have the signed yellow hall pass. If not, they can be marked out of place. It's the staff's responsibility to enforce this. Again, please use your discretion. I mean, we're human, they're human. But that's ultimately what we're trying to abide by. Students who are checking out of one room to go to another during warp must have a signed one-way yellow hall pass with the time and destination indicated. So they're not just leaving to go to another room without that pass. And then teachers should check the time on a hall pass when receiving a student after 9. As we've said before, if it's been 20 minutes and they were out of place for 20 minutes, then we can deal with that. Okay? It's just, again, a way to try to get it under control a little bit.
Are they still using the punch pad?
Yes,
Okay.
and we're working with tech.
So how do we mark them out of place?
you go to refer.
Oh, refer.
Yeah, and if you don't have the kid,
Well, you would, you should have a kid in class. If you
Yeah.
don't have a kid in class, then send an email to their.
Okay.
Dean, these guys.
And the punch cards, I guess the kids had figured out, correct me if I'm wrong, the kids had figured out like, it only marked like the last place they were at or something like that with the punch cards. So we're working with tech to make sure that each time a kid punches a pass, they're at 3 places during the work. We got it, we got it, we got it. So we're making sure
Should they
that.
be going to 3 places?
No.
But like,
But
they
they
were
were,
sent in for their absent homework. I've had kids come for 5
Oh,
minutes.
yeah.
Leave. I make them sign out and I give them a pass.
Yeah, we check kids too, if they have user apps, we give them a choice of what teacher they're going to. Right. So they're leaving us too.
All right, oh, sorry.
Yeah, so right before this session started, I saw some faces about about a waste of paper, about the policies being printed out. Those are up to you to post. You don't have to post them. But being my 3rd year here and not really knowing what the rules were, some people wanted them printed out. But I also received a compliment that he's happy that it's on paper. So you are welcome to do that what you want. I personally am gonna get them laminated and put them by my door. So when a kid this is the rule you are breaking, or this is how you are not dressed appropriately. And if you choose to not abide by those rules in your class, that's your choice. But we don't want to hear about it in the rest of our classes. Well, Mrs. Christensen lets me wear my hat. That's up to you and that's in your classroom. Yeah, but you have the discretion.
Can I just say on that, okay, that's up to Mrs. Christensen, I thought this is a.
It is.
We were like,
So,
no, she should not be.
Somehow.
Correct.
But
Right, so I thought you were blessing Mrs. Christensen.
No. We know that there are going to be teachers who don't follow the rules.
Right,
That's
like,
making
this
everyone's
is
job
the
harder.
rule,
It is. It's
like
something
you
important.
hate it,
Yep.
whatever,
It is.
this is what we're doing.
And this is straight out of our school policy. We
Yep.
copied and pasted.
This isn't stuff that we just.
Because I've read wars, well, so-and-so loves me,
So that conversation
No.
should
that should be a new point.
But just saying, because we know.
Have copies of these for the parents tonight, but
Yep.
that idea.
I love, this is not a waste
Put
of
it in the room
paper.
and let
This
us.
is the best piece of paper that the school has used. If you got a dress code problem, send them to Huntley, don't send them to me. Because I'm not gonna be in the room every hour.
And did you tell them it's alpha for you and Leon? No, because we're so confused. I am Jessica, I'm A to the middle.
A to J.
Yeah, A to J, okay.
It's just like one.
And then Dan is the end of the alphabet. No.
K to Z.
And it is in
Email
Skyward. Skyward too, yeah.
For guidance too.
Yeah. It's nice to get every year.
All right, so, that's work, that's step room, that's testing center. Last thing, is easy, because you guys did this last year, we just made sure it came to fruition. Because you had a self-committee, I believe, something like that. So what you guys came up with is the stoplight system, given the little flippy guy, and you're all gonna get a pack of 3 of these laminated stoplights. It's very self-explanatory. If you know in your classroom, you're never gonna have students with cell phones out, it will never be part of your curriculum, it will never be a place, then you got your red guy on the board and you call it a day.
I need 3
Okay.
sets.
Sometimes it will switch though. So if you are like, no, we're gonna be using cell phones in class, you might need to look stuff up. There are times when you might be using it today, here's your yellow.
I need another set.
And then if you have 10 minutes left at the end of class, you weren't planning it, but some kids are done, some kids aren't. And you're like, yeah, it would probably help me to have kids have their cell phones out for 10 minutes. Cool, put your green up. And that way the kids know they can be on their cell phones. That way, when you get into an altercation with a student who has their cell phone out and is using it, and you've got this red baby up on the board, you've got the backup that, no, you knew darn good and well, this is not a time to have your cell phone out. Okay? And that's what the clip is.
Yeah, that clip that you, magnet clip, that's for your 3 posters.
The clip doesn't hold these just in.
Oh, shut
The whole point.
The whole one?
The whole one, okay.
Never will tell Lisa.
It does hold one, we're good, okay.
I was gonna say, you're not gonna shake it.
Okay. So, that is that. I didn't say it doesn't. Maybe use it. You want to try a different option?
What if you put a piece of tape on it?
A rubber band might do it.
You're a bad person.
They're saying, yeah, they're saying.
You're still a Catholic leader, that's the right.
Maybe you just have a.
You gotta do Denise.
Maybe.
Put it on the board. Put it on the board. The magnet will hold it
Collaborate on how to
for future reference.
collaborate on how to make it.
Okay,
That's what
last thing. Okay, so, these folders, you should all have them. If you don't, we are asking you right now to raise your hand, so we can put you on the list of people who need new red and green folders.
These are gonna be required for like fire drills and
Yeah.
stuff again too, so.
So Chris,
If we're not sure,
if you're not sure, you don't put it
I'm not sure, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Better chances are.
And you can put your room number on those, and then Lisa just said, make sure that you're probably gonna have to reprint them 3 times the first couple weeks. Put your rosters in there, and it's even better if you do your skyward seating chart with the pictures, it's great for a sub, if you do that, so that would be helpful, she said.
Shul will take one too, so.
Shul will take one too.
100%. I haven't seen it.
And the papers you grabbed at the start of that table that said for emergency folder are for this folder. So place those in your folders when you get back to your rooms at some point as well.
You can ask Lisa. This stuff should be. This
is not requesting that these be given.
I wrote.
Then they have to sign, and then they have to.
We also had a request, that makes perfect sense to have the warp script mailed to you electronically as well, so I will do that, that way you can put it on your agenda.
Awesome.
And that will happen.
Like the first 4 works, I don't know if you said this already, but the lessons for the closed works aren't gonna take 40 minutes. So you should be instructing your warp kids that first day of school that it is going to be all, and they really, unless it's something they need to do on their cell phone, it's not like video game time on their cell phones. They should be bringing work to do or homework, whatever. something.
Warp's the first week, right?
We won't have work until the second week.
Second week.
But we have the,
September 21st is the closed work.
and the Panther Clause is the first day, and that's where we're gonna read all of this.
Right.
Day one.
I just want to reiterate, if we call, every time I need somebody, I end up calling like 5 extensions. So if Huntley, and then Shelley's usually the one that gets me. So if we're to call Huntley, that she is given dedicated time to be by her phone. Because it's really frustrating when you're trying to call the office and
Nobody answers.
nobody answers.
I usually end up trying to call somebody who I know has a walkie and say, can you please page for me? Because sometimes that goes.
Yeah, we don't.
Lisa opened this page for us in the past.
Is there a number you can just call and it goes to?
0, 0, 0, and it's 0, whoever's at the desk.
0 goes to the front desk.
She's not that it goes to Mary Ann or
All right, we will look into that.
Do we have what is decided as school policy if they're breaking the phone lights or whatever?
Yeah.
I mean, do we have a?
I mean, this is policy now, if you, I mean, this is.
This is policy, because we used to, you know, okay, warning, pick up, come home.
You're at your own.
We had talked
Yeah,
about
I was
that.
gonna say, I would say, if we're strict about it,
I would say, if we enforce it in our own rooms, I said it shouldn't be.
Right, I know, we got the addicts, I don't even know them there.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, you know, and I put it away, you know, well, guilty, but it's like, put it away. Because I know last spring, look at Blair, we're like, you have to call home. You know, I just have to pick up.
Just a referral, and if we need to revisit it, because like when we have our family meetings, we're like, yeah, this isn't working, kids are totally abusing this, and we don't know what to do, we can just bring it up.
Okay, I wasn't sure if there was a decision.
Okay. I didn't miss it.
Before they leave.
Oh, grab your language before you go.
Yeah, if they're all approved, choose the ready.
You want to applaud this? This was very-
Or the teacher and just say, hey.
Good, that's awesome, yeah, where the cheese.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one.
Well, some.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
Yeah, of course. Sure. Okay, so, basically, so you guys have power from lunch. We share classrooms, so I'll get that too. Yeah. 4 hours from lunch.
Yeah, no, yeah.
We're gonna talk about that today.
Are you going to bathroom?
Yeah, so I'll let you know. We're gonna start with our headliner. So,
There's a line.
Hola. Hey, Kyle, why are you looking at me? I know, and I'll go and organize them later.
That's where we are.
So.
Church man.
They got,
What are you doing? Oh. Brittany and I are gonna go that far.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
The abuse was just recorded, just saying.
I don't know what's going on.
Is that even a camera? What is that?
I'll go get it.
Right here. This is, stop broadcast. Right here.